Welcome, welcome. Amanda here with Crafting with Amanda. I'm so glad you stopped by. This is my first dive into Stash Dive Tuesday, but it will not be my last because I have lots of stash to work through. I found these photos from, I believe, 2018 when we went to California for the first time to visit. So I was looking at the colors in them, and then I found a couple different paper packs. One was Celebrate Today, and I had never used it because we moved and life had happened. And so I was adding the papers with that, and then I went back to the old fundamental papers, and that's what that orange and green were. But then I'm digging into this Hip Hip Hooray kit, and it's actually just from this last fall, but it is retired now, and I didn't use it, but the colors worked. So the piece here is from Celebrate Today, and I love these color swashes on the side of it. And it's funny, I picked my papers and then I laid out my photos, and it was later at night, but I wasn't feeling the mojo, so I was like, okay, just go to bed and work on it in the morning. Well, then the next morning I got up and I was really excited. I felt like I had an idea. So I'm swapping the left, right of these photos because I realized the photo that has both of the colored TARDISes in it, I wanted to put the galaxy background TARDIS with the photos of my son because he did an amazing job painting that at one of the Pottery Place Color Me Mine. And then I wanted to put the plain blue TARDIS that our youngest and I kind of both did the work on so that they would be on the correct orientation of the page. So I'm liking how these photos look finally. And this is what I had in the middle of the night, my kind of, this is what I should do, stencils. So I got out my star stencil, and as I'm showing you, the stars are kind of cascading from one edge to the other. So on this, I thought I would make like a V of stars between the two pages. So I have Distress Oxide inks, and I'm starting with the kind of the lighter orangey color. I don't think it's the mustard, I think it's I don't remember what color it is, I apologize. But my stencil is moving a little too much. So I'm not going to make you watch me put all of this on, but I just randomly kind of went through and colored in the stars. And then I realized that I needed a little bit of the seedless mustard or mustard preserves, I don't know which one it is, to fill in that one star. And that's why I like having it on a hinge because it's a little easier to line up the next time. So this is the second page, or the right hand page, and I actually turned it 90 degrees. So you'll see here when you put them together, now they go and they make that V across the page. So I'm going to clean up my mess here, but because of using Distress Oxides, I'm going to take advantage of that. And so I'm going to wet down the ink that's on the top of the stencil, and I'm going to put this just white daisy cardstock on it. And because it's wet, I wasn't able to fully show you what it is, but it turned out awesome. I will have a picture of that on my blog. And now I'm adding the Dina Wakley gloss sprays in the Midnight Blue. And I'm just kind of pushing the nozzle down really slowly so it's not full mist, but more of splotches. And I'm really kind of digging the feel. So now I want to make sure that the photos are gonna work on it again. I'm such a visual person that to me, I need to make sure the photos are going to work before I can add embellishments. The other thing that I did this morning first thing when I woke up and had the idea of the stars is on my Cricut, I just used the general shapes and cut a bunch of stars and then a painter's palette. And I think that's it, just the painter, and paintbrushes. So now I'm taking a sticker off of one of the sticker sheets that I grabbed, and I did only use no more than two from any one collection. So the green polka dots that are on the right hand side and the blue kind of chevron arrows that are on the left hand side, those are from the fundamental pack. The center sheet and one of the sticker pages are from the Celebrate Today pack. And then the second sticker sheet, and there was another piece of paper. Oh, that's the blue one. It's the orange that I used kind of as spacers between the center pages and the outside edge pieces is the fundamental. So the blue and the sticker sheet are the two from the Hip Hooray or Hip Hip Hooray kit. And I needed bright, vibrant colors for these photos. Otherwise everything was going to kind of get washed out. So here I'm just auditioning where I want to place these paintbrushes and see what kind of is gonna match and help you move through the layout from one side to the other. And I don't know if you noticed, but there's kind of a symmetry to this layout. So I have the 2 photos in the top that are square. I have the photos lined along the bottom that are also kind of just in a line and square. But the 2 other photos of myself and our oldest son are kittywampus or tilted, and all of that works to create a symmetry of the layout. So that's just basic composition, design, and things that help your eye. And normally you want to work in 3s or odd numbers, or have embellishment clusters that kind of move your eye across the page. And I am doing that, but I'm doing it more in a line, in that I start with the little cluster that's in the far left next to our oldest, and then it's moving your eye with those stars next to and through the title. And then you'll go ahead kind of on that same line. It's not too high or too low. There'll be a cluster of stars that move you into that paint palette, and then kind of to move you on through, there's the other paintbrush on the other side with a cluster of stars as well. So it's just one of those things that it artistically, I was trained, or I've read about, that you want to keep the eye visually moving across a layout or through a painting, or even draw you into it, versus if there's so much going on, sometimes your eye doesn't know where to focus or what to look at. And with these mixed media backgrounds, I think we can easily fall into that trap. I am absolutely guilty of that. Mixed media is new to me. I'm learning it and trying to experiment a little more every time I try it. So here I'm using these chevron as arrows to kind of indicate the progression of the TARDIS, because when you paint these pottery that have been fired one time but not fired the last time because they need to be glazed, so we're actually applying the tinted glaze to the pieces that you select, and then they fire them again and send them home with you. So now I have all my stars on. There were stars on one of the sticker sheets, so I've peppered those all in. And then I am using the green lidded Tombow glue because it dries a little tacky. And I find with plastic embellishment or these acrylic stars that having it tacky just keeps it in place a lot longer than some of the glues that dry harder. And I'm just, on the TARDIS that has the galaxy background, you can't see it in the photos, but our son did a really great job of doing these kind of star or cross stars all over it, and also some starbursts. So those are the ones that I'm gravitating to and pulling off of my cutting board. This is just a Dollar Tree cutting board that I use. It's easier to hold my embellishments. So I have all the embellishments done. I'm really happy with the flow of the page. I just need to figure out some journaling. So I grabbed from an old, I believe it was Wanderlust workshop, I love this little notebook paper. It's easy to cut out. It has rounded corners. So I just added our journaling, talking about how we needed an out from the hotel. My husband was working at the time and we were visiting California, but we needed to do stuff during the day when he was visiting. So be sure to go check out in the description all the other people that are doing the stash dive this week. It's Adam and Rebecca and Kim and Kathy and myself. And next week we'll have a few more. Take care. Blessings.